Hi FIN530ers. This is a bit of a site tour so that you'll know what's on the site and where you can find stuff. I think it really helps just to have a broad overview of where things are within the site. So we work down from the top. The home page is the one that you see when you come straight into the site. I've recorded a little introduction and put it there for you to have a look at. The subject outline, which I'm not going to click on, is also there. Now the subject outline is a pretty important document that outlines your assessment items, when they are due, and basically a lot of the rules and regulations around study. If you've studied previous subjects, you'll be quite familiar with them, but I do suggest that you have a pretty thorough read of that subject outline, not only because it gives you the assessment tasks and the marking rubrics and all that sort of stuff, but it also gives you an outline of how you're expected to study and what activities that you do in this particular subject. So have a read of that later. I just won't go through it here because this is more of a site tour. Okay, in the subject community areas, we've got contacts where I will just put my basic contact details, although they're already in the subject outline, as many of you would be aware. The announcements section, where if I need to bring things to your attention quickly, you know, like the discussion board entry has just been posted, guys, go and have a look at it. Things like that are how I use announcements. Our discussions we'll use a lot in this subject, and if I click on there, you can see here I've set one up for introductions. So, you know, if people choose to, you can go in there and say, hi, I'm John Smith, I live on the Central Coast, and I work at NRMA. You know, just a basic introduction, getting to know your classmates, which I think is always really nice, but you're under no obligation to do that. The subject general discussion board is where you might post some things saying, hey, I'm struggling a bit with question 3 and topic 3, anyone else? So things that you would raise in a class are things that are raised there. Now the rest of these discussion boards relate to your assessments 1 and 2. And so I'll briefly talk about them here, although we will talk more extensively about them later. Basically you need to form yourself into a group, and I'll talk about that in a minute too, and you need to collaborate with your group members and come up with a interesting discussion point for a week. So if you're in group 1, you're responsible for posting the discussion by Wednesday the 29th of July. So you go and post your discussion on this board, and then the rest of the class will provide comment or interesting observations or that type of thing to that discussion. If you're in group 2, you prepare your discussion for posting by the 5th of September and you post it to the group 2 board. Okay, so then that way we can keep things pretty tidy, and we know that group 1's posting in group 1 discussion board, and that's where we're going to go that week to have a look for that discussion and to post our observations. Okay, now we come to discussion board groups, which is where you can sign up to join a group. Okay, now I'm in student mode at the moment and I'm going to do a little mock sign up. I'm pretty keen to start. You can see here, this is just ridiculous, and I've spent about half a day trying to fix it, that the computer, being a ning-nong, reads the 10 as coming after 1 rather than at the bottom. So, you know, just be aware. This is actually the last group, being number 10, and that group 2 comes straight after group 1, but I cannot for the life of me find how to fix that. I should have called it group 9 plus 1. But anyway, we'll pretend we're going to sign up to discussion board 1. Okay, and I'm in there as a little signed up person, I think. No, it won't let me sign up. Nasty. Okay, so it says that I'm a little user in that group. And here are my group tools that I can talk to my group about. You know, and this, you know, you might get Fred Smith and Jane blogs and Benny Goodman and a whole group of people here. There'll be 5 other people other than me. And so these tools are just for us to talk about and collate our current event in. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we'll leave that group at the moment. Okay, now the most important part, learning content. Okay, I've got another introduction to the subject here rather than to myself, explaining the principles that guided the design of the subject. And then if we come down and we'll see all the topics listed there. Okay, now I'm going to show you around topic 3, basically because it's got everything in it and a bit more than most other topics. Okay, I'll just readjust my screen to lose that side menu. Okay, you can see the learning outcomes up the top, just a brief text overview, what you need to read in your textbook, and any other readings should be linked there. We come down here to the interactive tutorial, okay, which includes some more video content by me overviewing this subject, then moves into some like a mini lecture, but it's also got a very cool feature of having stop and review questions which you can interact with this tutorial. We've got a little button to click there for devices without flash, so it should open. This is a Captivate file that'll open in a separate window. So that's like, your sort of lecture interface, if you like. We come down here, and in some topics, like this one, which is one involving calculations, I've got some little whiteboards. Okay, so if I click play there, okay, you can see that I'm working through an actual problem as if I was working it through on a whiteboard in front of you. And I've got one there to show you how to price a bill, and then the second one showing you how to calculate a holding period yield. Okay, now not every topic is going to have those because not every topic has calculations. Okay, and then we come down to some review questions, which are the questions that really you should be making your notes around, that you're comfortable answering, because that forms the basic nuts and bolts of the topic. They've been sort of selected for that purpose. And then just because it's nice to have something else to do, we've got a little multi-choice quiz. Now, none of your assessment in this subject is multiple choice, but I think it really helps for revision purposes that you've got something that you can do that's in another format. You can test your knowledge. It is for self-reflection. There are no marks assigned to these quizzes, and you can take them as many times as you like. Okay, so they're there for self-reflection and self-learning, just to test your knowledge. You can do them as you're working through topics. You can do it halfway through the session, however you choose to study. So there are all the resources and learning materials that are available for you in each of the topics, okay? But the key component is really these interactive tutorials, but also don't forget there is background reading, okay, which supports that. So really, that's our site walkthrough. The other things on the side here, I don't use resources a lot. I just attach the files as I go. All my resources are embedded in the topics. The My Grades is where your grades are recorded, and I will unhide as appropriate. I release grades all at the same time. I don't dribble them out. And then you've got links to the library, learning opportunities, and other links there for support. Okay, now please don't hesitate to contact me if things aren't clear, or you can't find things, or you need some more information. That's what I'm here for. Okay, thank you.